And that was kind of why we started Juvé in June, because, we were in Trinidad. I was kind of standing. If anybody knows me and they ever see me in a party, I'm standing and I'm always observing. I'm watching people having fun. I'm watching people not having fun. I'm watching DJs. Because I'm always looking for different pieces to add to our event. So going to Trinidad for a few years in a row, it gave me an opportunity to kind of see the landscape of how we can do it. So when we decided to do Juvé in June and bring it back here, it was important for me or for us, I should say, to really bring that essence of the Caribbean here. So I don't care if you've never been to the Caribbean, you've never experienced that. When you come to Juvé in June, if you were to go somewhere else, you'd be like, oh, Juvé in June's like that. And that was kind of what we really tried to do with the event.
Welcome back to another episode of In We Blood, the podcast that's dedicated to help reignite an appreciation for Caribbean culture and traditions. Today, I am here with a special guest, Mr. Ron Dukes, one of the main people behind one of my favorite fetes here in Toronto, Juvé in June. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great to connect with you at the Revelers band launch. And, you came up to me and you were telling me, thanks for the podcast and stuff. It was actually really great to go to that launch because I got to get a lot of feedback from like the actual community and people that are like taking in the podcast. You're doing an amazing job. Oh, thank you so much. I'm doing my best. That's what I always say. So when we were there, we were chatting a little bit about Juvé in June. I was talking to you about like, where you guys are going to have it this year. And you started telling me about kind of like some of the challenges with like location and stuff like that. Right. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Absolutely. Every year, as you can see, we're in our 11th year and we've never done it in the same place twice. No, that's not true. We did it the first couple of years at Twilight, and then when we had to move to a bigger venue, we've had to move every year for various reasons. Whether that be because they don't respect the property, or it's just that the places that we go, the individuals don't understand our culture. So therefore they see all these people there and throwing paint and powder, and they knew that was coming from before, but then actually seeing it is probably like, maybe we don't want this back here. And then depending on where we go, all the cars in the area, the people in the area may complain. So, those are a lot of the challenges that we face every year. So we start hunting. As soon as the year's done, we start hunting for the following year.
So because you guys have Juvé in June and then you have Juvé in August. So from like the end of August, you guys are looking for a new place.
Well, from the end of June, we're looking for a new place for June the following year. Yeah.
And then how long does it take to actually secure somewhere?
It depends. Sometimes we've been lucky some years, and then other years we don't find a place until after tickets have already been put out, right? So sometimes it's just, we get lucky, and then we reach out to different individuals in the community, and, we get some help. Some people help us out, try to find a couple places. So
is it usually like somebody who knows somebody, or like what does that process look like?
Yeah, sometimes it's there are other promoters that have been here longer than me. And they, may know of a friend or somebody who has a space, and then they kind of refer us, or, the team might know of somebody through conversations working somewhere or whatever. And they're like, why don't you try this place? Or sometimes it's just really, I get in my car and I drive and and we're just looking around, and I say, okay, well, let's go and speak to this place or that place. And we get lucky.
What's the furthest that, like, obviously you're not going to make somewhere like 2 hours away, right? So is it usually like an hour when you're driving, like an hour radius from the city, or what are you using to determine?
We try to stay, let's say from central Toronto, we try to stay like maybe a half an hour either way. It becomes difficult because to find a place that big, you're not finding that in the GTA.
Yeah.
You have to go outside more often than not. So like we looked at a place in Bowmanville this year, and I was like, okay, that's way too far. If someone was coming from Brampton, they're not making that drive.
And one of the things that you're saying is that you're coming from Montreal, because I was saying, when you're saying like, a lot of people don't necessarily understand our culture or like why it gets messy or whatever, I was like, that just sounds like something where we need to come together. Like, I have a piece of land. If you guys want to rent it out for Juvé in June every year, like we could do a thing.
I've had this conversation with many individuals in Toronto. It's just nobody's ever. We need someone to start the ball rolling. You
literally always need one person to start it, and then everybody kind of, let me.
Because there are a lot of events that I think would come to that space.
Yeah.
You know, and then we don't just have to use it as an event space. We can use it as a space for other things as well, right? But I think we just need somebody to say, hey, okay, you know what, let's get this done. And I can think of a few people that would be, you know, ready and willing to jump in with it. So,
So we need a piece of land.
we need a piece of land.
So needing land is not only something for back home. We need land up here too.
Yeah, then we can build on it too. Build stuff on it. You know,
So a big plot of land. This is aside for our
few
fetes
acres.
and renting and whatever. You guys had the 10-year anniversary last year.
Yes.
Is there anything like for this year?
So this year, just the 11th year, I mean, we're just going to keep it moving. You know, one thing about Juvé in June is that we really keep our ears to the streets. We really have a lot of conversations with individuals, party goers in our on our Instagram, in person, because the only way to make the event better is to hear the things that went well and didn't go well. So we're constantly having conversations, trying to add things. People suggesting different artists. I don't know if people have noticed, but the one thing that we do at Juvé in June is we constantly try to bring artists that don't often come here. Whether even if it's just one per year, two per year, we try to include artists that you wouldn't normally see on maybe some of the bigger shows, the bigger soca shows here in Toronto. This year we have five of the 7 guests are first timers on Juvé in June.
Really? Oh, that's why I'm excited to see who it is. You know what's so cool? I remember last year you guys had Jab King. I was well excited. But you know, sometimes it's like when the crowd doesn't really know who the artist is, they just stand up. Yeah. But when he was performing, I was having the time of my life because that's what I listen to the most when I'm in Grenada. Right. The one thing that you guys did really well that I appreciated is one of the food vendors. I don't even know who that was. I don't know, but their food tasted so good. I was having a really good time over there. I don't know. So like the vendors and stuff like that. So maybe there's somebody who wants to be a vendor at Juvé in June. Is there like a process to apply, or what does that look like?
So okay, so let's start from the beginning. So because the event is so large, it used to be just me and my partner Akila. And we did everything. We did the sections, we did everything. And it became too overwhelming. And then we had some friends that wanted to help out, and now we have a pretty big team. So when it comes to parts of the event, we've kind of split them in half, in the sense where she's in charge of those half and I'm in charge of this half. So logistics, infrastructure, that's where I take care of promotion, and she would sooner take care of like what you said, the food and stuff like that. So I mean, if someone wanted to, they could reach out to Akila or even to Juvé in June on Instagram and ask. But we typically bring back the same food vendors unless there's an issue. Okay. Right? That's the same thing like with sections. We typically bring back the same. I constantly have people asking me about, can I get a section? Can I get a section? But we don't necessarily add that new person every year unless somebody for some reason decided not to come back, really.
Okay.
So there's some consistency there.
Okay. How many sections do you guys usually have in a year?
We started out with 4. This year we're trying to go up to, we have 6 this year. And we typically do about 100 per section. So this year we're looking to do about 125.
So how many people come to Juvé in June?
Last year we did just under 5,000, like 49 something. So we're hoping to come back to about that number this year. It would be nice, you know. But as long as people come and have a good time, we're okay.
What the heck? When I was there, it didn't even feel like it was that many people.
Yeah, on the counter it was...
many people were on the grounds, or that many people bought tickets?
The counter was actually 5,000 and something, but, you know, I don't count staff and stuff, so I kind of subtract a few numbers. So I'm going to say 49 something was the number.
And when you guys started out, how many people were there?
The first year we did 280 something people. And I remember, I tell the story all the time. I remember sitting out in the parking lot at Twilight. Everybody went inside and made their way inside to go get stuff to eat. And I sat in the parking lot and I was just... had tears in my eyes, my hands, my head in my hands. And I was like, how am I going to pay everyone? Yeah. And it was probably like 5 figures that I had to cough out. And I have a newfound respect for a lot of the DJs here that came up, like as I say, in my class, around my age range. Because many of them said, you know, Ron, don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to pay us. The vibe was so good. Just book us next year. And I got lucky that way. You know, even some of the artists gave me a bly, and it was I appreciate it a lot.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Lucky.
Yeah. Well, it's a blessing, you know? It's kind of like you did something for the community, you started your thing, and it was like, what am I going to do? Yeah. And that's crazy just to see the growth in like the last now 11 years from 250 people not knowing how you're going to pay everyone to like almost 5,000 people with staff and a team and all this stuff. Like,
we treat it like a business, right? Like, so the people, many of the individuals who were working that day, we pay them.
Yeah.
We pay them to be there.
That's so amazing. Wait, so can people like, okay, do you normally bring on the same staff all the time, or is that something where people can?
So our core team is the same. And then we have some volunteers that come every year and do an amazing job, and we bring them back. But we would take on some volunteers. We have somebody actually in charge of volunteers, who kind of vets the volunteers and stuff like that. And then she'll have her own meeting and tell them what they need to be doing, where they're going to be situated. So she takes care of that. We have somebody that deals with the bar situation. So she's supervising the bar. Somebody deals with the front. At the front, we have somebody that works in the back. So we have a good team. Security is kind of my big bro Trax. He and his partner Sean, they take care of all the security. So I mean, it flows. I never have to be. Juvé and June is probably the only part that I do that I'm actually in the mix. I'm in there getting dirty with. I love Juvé. I'm a party goer, so I'm out there. I'm with everyone. I'm getting dirty. I'm throwing paint. Sometimes I'm taking extra paint. I'm giving it out to people. I just want people to have fun.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the one thing that I always say is that you can tell the leadership based on kind of like the outcome of anything that you go to. Every time I go to Juvé and June, I have a great time, you
Glad
know?
to hear that.
So it's like, so just from that experience and like I guess, just the way how things flow and there's no like big problems, you can tell that like, hey, the leadership and the team behind this is making sure to take care of things so that we have a good time, so that we come back. Right? Last year I saw you guys posted on Instagram like the cleanup after the fact. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good that you guys are cleaning up. So when you guys are booking these venues and stuff, like what does that look like from start to finish?
So we find a space. We'll go in and we have to obviously explain to the individual what we're going to be doing here. We let them know that we are going to erect the structure. We're going to take it down. We're going to be in charge of cleanup. We will get insurance. So the paint and the powder that we use is biodegradable, so it's not going to affect your property. And then after a couple conversations like that, most individuals will say, okay, because obviously we're going to have to pay them, right?
Yeah, if the price is right.
So you call a price, and then we go back and forth, we negotiate, and then we see where we're at there. We've had some people counting the numbers or counting the dollars even before we got there, and we've had to walk away from those situations. But overall, like, you know, we've been truly blessed to find spaces relatively early in the year. We've had a couple occasions where we were kind of down to the wire. We were like, okay, we've already sold tickets.
That's so scary.
I mean? It is.
How does it feel in those moments though?
I just pray a lot.
Yeah.
I pray a lot, and you know, and then I'm out there, and I'm making calls every day to try to find. Then there's certain individuals who know certain people or know certain places that I kind of rely on every year, and they kind of help me out, just because they might be in real estate or something like that. Okay. So they may know of a space that maybe, you know, So
when we're looking for the piece of land that the community needs to, so it needs to be, what are you saying? Like an hour maximum from downtown Toronto?
Yeah. I would say that.
Okay.
So then you would be probably, if you went an hour, that's probably just on the outskirts of Brampton or just on the outskirts of Pickering. You know, so yeah, an hour from downtown.
Okay, I'll keep that in the back of my head.
Yeah. So yeah, well, if you find something, let me know. Let me know. But you know, like, I just think that I look at the state of events in this city, and I think that we have really good events. I think what is different from other places, like, let's say, New York, right, is that many of the party goers here or who are in that range who actually party are not necessarily born in the Caribbean. They're often maybe second generation from that age range, right? So the way that they see an event is going to be very different than if I went to Brooklyn and I sat in there, and it's like it's such a different feel. And that was kind of why we started Juvé in June, because we were in Trinidad. I was kind of standing. If anybody knows me and they ever see me in a party, I'm standing and I'm always observing. I'm watching people having fun. I'm watching people not having fun. I'm watching DJs. Because I'm always looking for different pieces to add to our event. So going to Trinidad for a few years in a row, it gave me an opportunity to kind of see the landscape of how we can do it. So when we decided to do Juvé in June and bring it back here, it was important for me or for us, I should say, to really bring that essence of the Caribbean here. So I don't care if you've never been to the Caribbean. You've never experienced that. When you come to Juvé in June, if you were to go somewhere else, you'd be like, oh, Juvé in June's like that. And that was kind of what we really tried to do with the event.
And it is what it's like. Because when I go to, like, for example, 10 to 10 in Grenada or any of those fetes around carnival time, it's a piece of land and a stage and like the washrooms and vendors and just drinks and just vibes. The only thing that's different is that those parties are from night till day. And
I was about to say that. Like the only thing, if we could change it for Juvé in June, was moving it into the wee hours of the morning.
That would be the only thing
difference. We would change.
Yeah, that would be. I can't even imagine that here. Like my brain is not. I don't
know if they would be able to handle that here.
Yeah, right? I feel like that's a thing that's specific to the Caribbean. Like you're partying from like these events that I'm talking about. Like maybe we get there at like 2:00 in the morning, and then we're leaving like 9:00 in the morning. Yeah, I can't imagine that happening here at all.
And you're going again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? Bathe and change and back out again. But I can't imagine that kind of pace here. I don't think we have the infrastructure for that level of pace.
And that was kind of what we were thinking in year 10. I'm like, okay, let's push this a little bit. Let's go from 10 to 10 and let's push it into the morning. 10 o'clock, there was nobody there.
Oh, absolutely not.
12 o'clock, there was nobody there.
Nope.
People started rolling in around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But I think we as promoters here, that's what you need to do, promote. Right. And you need to educate. And that's part of your job. Educate the masses on, different things. Like, so for example, I do a breakfast boat ride, right? It's the only breakfast boat ride in the city. I do a caravana Sunday morning, right? And I remember organizing the breakfast boat ride, and, they had individuals here saying, that's not going to work. People go out on Saturday night, they sleep. And in my mind, I'm like, but when you guys leave here and you go to Caribbean, you're on parties at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to try it. And for the first 5 years, we sold out. Then COVID hit, right? So we had to pivot. But now we're back on a boat. And last year we sold out, and it was vibes.
Oh, that's that's what I was going to ask you, because Caravana Weekend is like, from what I can see, just as a consumer, I would imagine that it's like a highly competitive weekend to put on an event. So how are you able to sell out your event? Is it just based on like the name that you built for yourself with past parties, or what are you doing?
Well, for the breakfast one, it was that so the tagline is where Canada, the Caribbean, and America collide. So we have, we really bring in a DJ from the US. We've had artists on the boat in the past. We have obviously Canadian and American DJs. And when we sold it out, there's 3 of us that do it. 2 of us live here and 1 lives in New York. And when we sold it out, we typically sell it out to foreigners. Like it sells out that fast to foreigners. So when you come on the boat, it's like, this past year wasn't so much like that. A lot of Canadian or Toronto people came. But it's typically people who don't live in the city.
Like New York people?
A lot of New Yorkers come, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. A lot of New Yorkers come.
So you see a lot of new faces, right? And then we serve Caribbean breakfast and stuff like that. So we go from like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
One of the things that I heard you saying is that, you go to these different events and stuff, like when you're in Trinidad or wherever, and you're observing, and then you're seeing what you can bring back to this city. Right. That's something that I heard my friends saying too, who are behind the scenes of like dancehall karaoke, Uncle Delroy's dancehall karaoke here. They went to Jamaica and they saw like a dancehall karaoke thing happening there, and they brought it back here. Same thing my friend said, her and her man went to South Africa. They saw like a kind of vibe, and they're like, yo, I want to bring that back to the city. And this is just making me realize, like, I'm guessing, so for people who want to have events, maybe you don't know what gap you can fill, just start going to events all over the place and figure out what you want to do.
Absolutely. I think, because these other places, you have the ability to do more, you have to be creative when you come back here, and you have to fit it into the laws that we have, right? Because the laws are not for us, by us. The laws are for what it is, right? So when you come here, you kind of have to just kind of figure out a way, like with Juvé in June, we had a lot of going back and forth with, like, for example, when we went up to King City, I had to go meet with the municipality about 6 times with the police and stuff like that. And they were like, oh, well, what about this? What about that? And I was like, I had to make sure that they felt secure in the decisions that we were making. So I had to go and get maybe more police or more,
So do you need permits and stuff for this kind of thing?
Absolutely. In the beginning, we didn't have any.
Yeah.
We
You're
just kind
doing
of
your
made it
thing.
happen. But as we grew, then you become more liable, right? So that's why we had to go and get insurance and permits and stuff like that to make sure we dot all our I's, cross all our T's, right? So when and we often have police come, and I invite them, like, please come.
Yeah, you need police
pass
presence,
through.
just even for crowd control.
The ones that I pay for, and then the ones like, if somebody you want to come inside?
Oh,
Do you want to eat something? You want to see what it is? And I take them around the event and I explain to them what this is, what Juvé is, why Juvé is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when we go back into certain places, police officers, I've seen police officers that came the year before and come the next year with their friends.
Oh my gosh, like
I've seen it.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. So you don't have to necessarily say like the exact numbers, but what would you say is like the biggest expense for putting on Juvé in June?
That's a good question. I mean, people often think like, you see the numbers and it's like, oh my God, they made so much money.
Yeah, but there's so many expenses.
Oh my gosh, is there ever? The biggest expense, I guess you could say maybe venue, maybe depending on how many artists you're going to bring. I don't
so
even
like
know.
Actually securing the land is probably the biggest expense.
Yeah.
See why I need to get the piece of land.
But yeah, like I'm trying to think. Maybe it's the land.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Like just actually securing the venue.
Like last year's artist budget was astronomical.
Because that's what I'll see. You guys had some.
It was wow. Yeah, that was the biggest expense last year.
Okay.
That probably won't be the biggest expense this year. It'll probably be, or if it's not the land, it's the land / because remember you have to build a venue. You have to put the fencing up, all that. So it could be that too. It's expensive.
Okay. Yeah, because when I was talking to Mr. Luis Saldina, like he was saying the same thing. He was like, a lot of people think, oh, look how expensive the costumes are. That's how much money they're bringing in. He's like, as soon as I open the door to my mass camp, I'm liable for $100,000, like at least.
And I'm with Saldina too. So
yeah. Why do you have a section with Saldina?
No, I do the kiddies. I do a kiddie section in Saldina.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
We used to do adult mass. With Revelers and Venom, and then we came to Saldina. I was like, I don't want the headache anymore, so we just do kiddies. That's it.
Yeah,
nothing else.
You're actually not the first person I've heard that says that. They're like, yo, honestly, I'm just gonna do kiddies, and that's it.
Yeah. And we do a lot of I think last year we did about 130 kids, something like that.
That's awesome. When Nicholas was on my episode, he was saying like one of the ideas that he has is he would love to have like a Juvé for kiddies.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. So we've had a Juvé for kiddies. 2016, 2017, we did something called Juvé Playday. So we have what we call the Juvé series. So we have Juvé in June, Juvé in August, and Juvé Playday. Juvé Playday, in years past, it was the last Sunday before kids went to school. This year, it's probably going to be in early July. We're just waiting to deal with signing the paperwork, waiting for the city to come back to us, but everything is already in motion for that. And the way that's structured is really a fun day for kids. We're going to be reaching out soon. As soon as we sign that stuff off, we'll be reaching out to kids who have talent to say, hey, if you want to be a part of this, please
like
reach
performances?
out. Yeah, performances, dances, DJs. So the day is for kids by kids. And then so then we have games during the day, which consists of father-daughters, mother-sons, kids-on-kids games. And then at the end of the day, the last 2 hours, we do like a Juvé. And I always tell parents, in the years past, like, so I put cones there, and I tell the parents, if you come inside this cone, you're going to get dirty. And I let all the kids know, I said, this is the time that maybe your parents said something to you you're unhappy about, or you want to get at your parents. If they come in this pylon, they are free reign. And I let the parents know, and they, you blink, and then all these parents are inside there. They're running around with their kids. They're throwing paint. It's just such a wonderful sight to see.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we end the day.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to that in July and bringing all the kids.
Yes, bring them all.
And come have a fun play day and Juvé celebration.
We do sort of like a pack. We try to do it the same way we do Juvé in June. So there's a little package which includes your T-shirt, you get lunch, you get snacks, you get your drink. So yeah, it's gonna be something for the kids.
Well, what can we expect for Juvé in June for the big people? Without ruining, I'm seeing your face without giving too much.
Juvé in June for the big people this year, you can expect. Well, when it comes to the art, when it comes to the artists or guests, I should say, I like to say it like that. There's this one artist I've been trying to bring to Juvé in June since year one. I have been I've made calls every year, trying to go through people who live here.
Yeah.
And I finally got through, and this person is coming this year.
How do you even get in touch with the artist to book them? Is it like a DM on Instagram? They have a team? Like, what does that look like?
Sometimes it is a DM, but just because we've been doing it a long time, someone might give us a link, like, "Oh, call this person," right? And then I'll reach out to the manager directly, or we. Over the years, we've become pretty cool with a lot of artists, so some of them we just call directly. But this year, my whole goal was I wanted to bring a lot of newcomers.
Yeah.
And there were a couple others that were just booked on that day, but two of them, one is I can't.
Don't.
Because if I say it, it's going to give it away. But
you can't say it.
Two of them, I am really excited to see.
Can you tell us what island they're coming from?
That'll limit it. If I told you that, then people would be able to kind of
pinpoint and guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm super excited for Juvé in June. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, it's one of those events that I have, but I don't really like Fete that much. I don't really go out to Fetes that often. And the ones that I do go to, they have to remind me of what it would be like if I fed in Grenada. That's why I go to Juvé in June, and that's why I go to Tsunami. And that's pretty much it. Those are the two same kind of get dirty and have fun vibes, right? Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to chat
oddly
about.
Enough, so Juvé in June was doing its thing, and I don't know if a lot of people know how Juvé in August came to be. Juvé in August came about in COVID, so there was a week span in COVID where they were like, okay, well, you guys can do, or you can have, or no, I shouldn't say a week, but they started to talk about we can have events outside and limit it to 1,000 people. So I scrambled, and I'm like, okay, I didn't get to do Juvé in June this year. What if we do Juvé in August? And we scrambled, we ran around, and we made this thing happen within a couple of weeks, put the tickets out, boom, it was a hit. And we didn't plan to do it again. And then people flooded our Instagram.
Yeah, you need to bring it back.
And now we have Juvé in June, Juvé in August.
Juvé in August, I went to the one, it was just outside of Brampton or whatever, in that parking lot. And oh my gosh, the tow trucks made a lot of money that day. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Like I said, when we go certain places, and I let people know you can't park there, and they don't care. They just park up on the side, pull over this way, they do what they want. And then
you could see all the white people standing outside their houses with their arms folded, the hell is going on over here?
I had a reporter call me from out there to do an interview over the phone regarding that stuff, and I
parking and cars and stuff?
I felt he was trying to jam me up. He's from I guess the neighborhood newspaper, and he was trying to jam me up, and I was like, listen, I did everything by the books. I got all my permits. So if there's an issue that you have, you need to speak to the establishment, not to me. I did everything that I was supposed to do.
So that's what you're saying about things like that happen, and then you have to find a new spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All the time.
Oh man. Well, I'm looking forward to when we have that permanent spot.
Yes, me too. Me too.
It's this is the go-to spot. Anytime there's any kind of Fete, anything, we know we're going here. We're going here. Yeah. And I think that'll be really amazing. And I think that's an opportunity for the community to come together, or whichever real estate investor people that see that as a golden opportunity. And I'm really also looking forward to the kiddies.
Yeah, I love that one. To see these kids run around.
Yeah.
And to the littlest one who could barely walk.
Yeah.
And they're throwing their little paint and powder. And I'm just like, yeah.
That's so nice. Like, see little things like that where like the children get to be a part of the culture and immersed in it, even though we're not back home. Like those things mean so much and matter. Even if you have to force to bring your child to the little Juvé, just bring them.
And it's probably the other way around where the kids are like, Mom, we got to go. So this year we kind of partnered up with a school. So the school's going to be sending it out. We're just really trying to reach out to a lot of the schools and then as well as the mass camp and be in all the band launches to let the parents know that, hey, this is what we're doing this year for the kids. If you don't want a package, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can come. It's free. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, you come and you know, it's open to the community. The package piece is really just for parents who kind of want to give their kid that experience. But it's open to anybody to come.
Oh, that's so amazing. That makes it even like so much better.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so excited. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's all we had to talk about here. I don't know if there's anything else that we wanted to chat about, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to Juvé in June and any of the other events that you'll have. And what you were saying about the boat ride, I don't really know, because remember, I don't really go to too many fetes, but like you're saying, there's people from the States. The first thing that came up in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's a good networking opportunity. Like, who, what are the, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Because I was going to say, like, what are the, like, these people that are coming from the States, like, who are these people that are coming on this boat ride? You know what I mean? Like,
so many of them are just people that come for Caravana, right?
Okay.
But we put it out early enough, and because we have someone in New York, they push it in New York. And that's how we've kind of sold it out in the past couple of years, because it's like, okay, a lot of them are leaving maybe the Sunday evening to go home. So they're getting up and they're coming on this boat ride. And after that, maybe they jump in their car and they're going back, or they're flying out, whatever the case may be. So when you get to the boat ride, we used to do a theme too. It used to be yellow and white. So you come on the boat and it's just yellow and white, FC of yellow and white everywhere. And now we've kind of pulled that back. But we're debating if we're going to change the color this year. And it's just something to, you know.
Make it more fun.
Yeah.
So
looks good in pictures.
Is there any more like insider behind the scenes of like the back end of such a big production of Juvé in June that you can tell us? Like, what is something that people might not expect that you guys have to do for this? I
can't think of anything right now. I mean, you spend a lot of late nights, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of late nights, a lot of constantly on the phone. You know, when it, okay, so I can say this. When we go to erect the infrastructure, sometimes it takes us a few days to do it.
Why?
And that may depend on where we go. Like, so for example, this year, it's going to take us Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then, so when we fully take down everything, so Monday is fully because like porta potties and fencing, certain things don't get picked up till Monday.
So you guys are booking the venue for 4 days.
You have to, or we have to, right?
4 days.
4 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yep. So Friday
what
we'll
day
go
is the
in.
event?
Saturday.
Okay.
So Friday we'll go in. We'll drop the fencing and stuff like that. Maybe the porta potties and stuff will come. Saturday is the event, so we'll probably be there till late on Friday. We'll get there early Saturday morning. I typically get to the event space probably like 6, 7 o'clock, and I start to move things because sometimes they just drop things, drop stuff off. So me and a couple guys will go. We'll start pulling stuff. Sunday is really take down the cleanup. We have a cleanup crew, actually. That's part of what we do. So Juvé in June has its own cleanup crew. They'll come, they'll clean everything. We have them on site during the day. They'll clean. And then Monday is when everybody, but for this year, the event space, as long as we're on that ground, we have to pay for it. It's crazy.
So when were you able to secure that or like find it?
This year, we were able to secure it pretty early. I mean, I went to Tsunami last year, so I got a chance to see the grounds. It's the same grounds Tsunami last year.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
They're willing to bring people back?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They said yes to us. I don't know.
That was like, because it's not far at all.
Yeah. It's a good space. The only thing is that it's a conservation site, right? So there are houses there, there's historic houses and stuff. So we'll fence those off so nobody goes around them.
Yeah, I did see that house, and that's what I was saying.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 houses there on that.
That's what I was saying to Busby when they had their whole, because he had an episode with me, we were talking about Tsunami. They had like their whole porta potty set up, but like I guess like my mentality of like growing up with my grandmother and stuff is like, don't go in that, go find a bush somewhere in the back. So I tried to do that, and there was somebody on his staff back there like, no, like you can't come back here, like go in the porta potty. Like there's people's houses and stuff. And what he was saying is like, yeah, like imagine one of the people who lived there came out and saw that, like that could have affected our ability to come back. And then when I did go to the porta potty, it was really clean and it was fine, right? But like these little things, sometimes it's just one person that could end up mashing up the whole thing, I guess. And I didn't even know that.
I don't know about you, but I hate porta potties.
Yeah.
They're gross.
I really wanted to just go in the back there.
So that was another thing that a girl said to us one year, and we decided that so we have two individuals that stay at the porta potties, and that's their job for the day.
Yeah.
And so every so often they come, they clean, they mop it out, they wipe down the toilet seats. Because I mean, who wants to go in there, especially as a female? You have to sit down or stoop or whatever. Like it's gross.
Yeah.
You know, men come in, they pee all on the seat.
Yeah.
So we have somebody that's constantly cleaning it to make sure that you know, because that's how you get people peeing in the bush and stuff when the porta potties are dirty or the lineups are too long.
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah. Okay, well, I'm excited to see Juvé in June this year. That should be really fun. And maybe that'll end up being the spot where you guys can just...
I would love to sign a long-term contract with any place, to be honest. And know
because
where it's
that's
going.
So much of the work, right?
Yeah.
Is actually just securing a place.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like riding a bike now. So, you know, Akila and I, we start planning early. We start putting things out early. We just have the packages. They come out early. Early bird tickets come out early. But it's really just... It's kind of like on autopilot now because we've done it so many times.
Yeah.
We just kind of know what we need to do. Or if there's something that's not working, we're like, okay, we got time for that. We need to do that by this time in order for it to happen. So it works out.
Have you already released the tickets for this year?
Yes. We're probably about, let's say 1,700 tickets sold already.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's probably about 1,700.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to be the numbers this year? Like 6,000?
No, because that place won't let us go to
what's
those
the maximum
numbers.
there?
She said anything over 4,000 is going to start to make her feel a little weary. But that's something that's in a negotiation, right? Like having more security, having more police, whatever. That's fine. But we'll see as packages close is typically when ticket sales spike.
Exactly.
So when packages close May 12th. So after May 12th till June 8th, we start to see tickets really start.
Of course, because that's what I'm saying. Like Juvé in June's not even on my mind right now. So the fact that you guys already have those tickets
we had
sold.
a Boxing Day sale.
Okay.
We had a flash sale in Easter long weekend.
Okay.
And then packages went on sale Easter long weekend.
Okay.
And the movements.
I'm excited. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be paying attention.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the legit. Oh, this is the... Do you think this is something that you would bring to other cities, or is this just going to be Toronto?
Actually, during the COVID period, we were supposed to go to St. Kitts. We inked a deal. We signed a contract. We were supposed to go to St. Kitts for St. Kitts Music Festival. And then again, COVID hit. And then we were having a conversation actually last year about bringing it to St. Vincent. So we're still... We would love to take it outside of here. So if you want to Juvé in June in your city, please link up. Please link up.
That would be really cool. I didn't expect you to say somewhere in the Caribbean. I thought it would just be very like in the diaspora.
Yeah. No, I mean, like for us to bring it to New York, they have 1 million Juvés. Wouldn't make sense. But somebody came to us and like St. Kitts and St. Vincent came to us and asked, and I was like, of course I'm interested. You want to take me to the Caribbean to do this event? Sure.
So would it be something where you partner up with like an already established event, or like this is Juvé in June on one of these islands?
This is Juvé in June. So St. Kitts was going to be a little different. St. Kitts, when we were going, it was going to be more on the road. Okay. So it was going to start early in the morning and go on the road, and then it was going to go, I shouldn't say all of this, but it was going to go and end at a venue, and the individuals who were playing are part of the Juvé band would have gone inside, and we had all the artists inside. So
that would have been
set up different.
Amazing.
And then the people who were just who jumped in, whatever, they would have to pay when they got to the venue. That was the way it was set up.
Well, I'm really excited to see when Juvé in June does go somewhere else.
Me too.
And I hope it's a huge success. That's exciting. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for chatting with me.
Anytime.